The community of Silverwood Pines was famous for its beauty. Wide streets, green lawns, white fences, and perfect houses that looked like they were built from the same dream. People said it was the safest, happiest place in the county. When Daniel and Maria Reed bought their first home there, they felt lucky. Daniel was a teacher, Maria worked at a hospital, and their 8-year-old son, Oliver, couldn't stop smiling when he saw the playground down the street. Everything looked peaceful, too peaceful. On their first day, they met the HOA president, Leonard Briggs, a tall man with silver hair, expensive glasses, and a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Welcome to perfection," he said. "We take pride in order here. You'll love it, as long as you follow the rules." Daniel laughed politely. "Of course," he said. He didn't realize those words were a warning. Within the first month, the letters started arriving. A notice about grass length violation, a fine for non-approved curtain color, even a complaint about Oliver's basketball hoop being visible from the road. Maria sighed. "We can't even let him play?" Daniel shook his head. "It's just rules. We'll adjust." But it didn't stop. One day, a security volunteer came to their door with a photo. Oliver S. bicycle parked beside the fence. "Unapproved outdoor item," he said coldly. "You'll receive a citation." Maria frowned. "It's a child's bike." "Rules are rules," the man replied, and left. The Reeds began to notice how quiet the neighborhood was. People smiled, but their eyes looked tired, afraid. Cars were spotless, no music played, even the wind seemed too polite. Late one night, Daniel saw 2 men walking down the street with flashlights. They stopped in front of each house, writing notes. When he asked the next day, Leonard said calmly, "Routine compliance checks. We keep everything perfect." Daniel began to dig. At the HOA office, he found that the association wasn't just enforcing rules, it was recording residents. Security footage, complaint forms, and even background checks were stored on every family. And the fines? They didn't go toward maintenance. They went straight into Leonard Briggs' private account. Daniel confronted Leonard. "You're stealing from people!" Leonard smiled. "I'm protecting their investment. Order isn't free." That night, Daniel told Maria everything. "We have to do something," she whispered. They gathered evidence, copies of letters, photos of the secret files, and testimonies from neighbors too scared to speak. But Leonard found out. The next morning, Daniel's mailbox contained an eviction notice. "Your presence threatens community harmony," it read. He called a meeting. For the first time, the residents gathered in the park, dozens of them whispering nervously. Daniel stood before them with trembling hands and a folder full of proof. "You all know what's happening," he said. "We've been living under fear. This isn't a neighborhood. It's a prison." He opened the folder and read aloud. Fake fines, forged approvals, and emails showing Leonard had used HOA funds to remodel his private home. Murmurs spread through the crowd like fire. Leonard arrived, furious. "You're violating HOA policy," he shouted. Daniel faced him. "You don't make the rules anymore." One by one, the residents began stepping forward. Old couples, young families, even teenagers. They shared their stories. Fines for flowers, threats for music, humiliation for nothing. The people Leonard had controlled now stood against him. The HOA board, once too afraid, called for an emergency vote that same night. Leonard Briggs was removed, charged with fraud and misuse of funds. Weeks later, Silverwood Pines looked different. Lawns were still green, but now there were toys, laughter, and mismatched paint colors. The place finally felt alive. On a Sunday morning, Daniel walked outside and saw his son drawing on the sidewalk with chalk. The same volunteer who once gave them fines walked by, smiled, and said, "Nice artwork." Maria looked at Daniel. "You did it," she whispered. He smiled softly. "No," he said. "We all did." That evening, as the sun set over Silverwood, a gentle wind moved through the streets, carrying the sound of children's laughter, the sound of freedom. But somewhere, deep in the old HOA office, a single light still flickered. A file drawer creaked open by itself, revealing the name Reed Family. And for just a moment, a faint whisper echoed in the empty room. Order must return.